What is up, FOF fam? Coach Nardella back with some college game day breakdowns. Today we're going to be checking out Mason Cone and Luke Weirman. I thought this was one of the best early battles of the season. I hope to see plenty more. We got treated to a treat on Saturday night watching these guys, and a great game between both Syracuse and Maryland. I think these two are excellent examples for young students to watch because not only are they great athletes, but they handle the ball well. They're involved in the transition game. They counter, they clamp, they do a lot of different things, and I think strategically they just are head and shoulders above a lot of guys in the field at the Division I level right now, and I look forward to breaking them both down.
Now these clips are quick, so we're coming at you fast. Luke does a great job utilizing backdoor on this first one. He felt the shovel. He runs away from pressure for, big game. He makes an errant pass on one of the first early faceoffs, but it's all right. This next one, we see Weirman beat Cone to the ball, and he does a great job just getting into his body, throwing that shovel, and makes it a 50-50 ground ball. Syracuse is able to get transition off of it. Next, you see both guys are leaning a little bit. Mason beats him to the ball on this one. Luke does a great job shoveling. Excellent look off here, running away from the pole. Continuing to be a threat. They don't pick him up from about 5 yards. That's a great shot opportunity, and the Dome's fired up about it. We got Johnny Mullen here. He actually wins the clamp, overruns this by not tossing it out far enough, and then makes a huge mistake by going and putting Syracuse 2 men down. Maryland actually scores on this next possession. We have Cone back. He throws his left a little too much. Great read by Weirman pulling the ball out early. Maryland gets again. Transition, they do a great job hitting the trailer. They decide to settle it down. Mason wins the race to the ball here. Great, clean defensive exit. Pop into his left hip. Very decisive. He runs away from pressure. Weirman does a good job staying on him and just making his life difficult while Syracuse is subbing. Another one, we see Mason win the race to the ball. Luke does an excellent job getting under that right arm and just keeping this thing alive. Syracuse has a couple cracks at it, but Maryland comes up with a huge ground ball on the sideline here. Great pass back to the goalie. That's just really savvy, stealing some draws. Cone does a really good job recognizing their man up and throwing through the legs. This is something everybody should be doing. When you have that free man out on the wing, you should be utilizing him as much as possible. Luke wins this clamp. Great shovel. You see a lot of these faceoffs are turning into counters. Syracuse was still a man up, so they were able to get that ground ball clean. Another counter opportunity, right? Clamp loss, faceoff win. That's kind of the story with a lot of these. He almost runs into trouble. It's a great job keeping his feet moving, carrying through X, and finding the open guy. This is what makes Weirman dangerous, his ability, even after losing a couple clamps, to push the ball straight forward. Syracuse comes up with a huge save, but that's great textbook fast break hitting the point. Now Weirman's starting to feel it. Good backdoor. He throws this one a little bit high. I bet he wishes he had that back. Maryland's defense is always ready, it seems, in the box for those 50-50s. Luke over-rotates on this one, but Maryland does a great job collapsing from the wing, and Luke stays on this GB to come up with the win. As the face-off goes on, right, you don't necessarily need a perfect clamp. If you can force guys to exit to spots where you have help from your wing guys, it's always going to be a little bit tough for that opposing face-off guy to get out. Now you see Cone's trying to go back here. He kind of overruns it, and Maryland just hangs behind the play, doing a great job staying defensive, and they end up winning that one. You see here, he kind of utilizes that knee block out to prevent Luke's strong rotation. This is a really good face-off, a good job running to space and getting through pressure. Sometimes that's a little tougher than it needs to be, but necessary. This is a great feel on that shovel, and then going backdoor and finding the guy upfield as Syracuse crashes for the wings. Maryland again gets transition. You see Luke rejoins the play, really heads up. Mason hits this whistle again. Great defensive exits. Pushing 5 or 6 on 5. They didn't really have anything there, so they decided to pull it out. This is a really good traditional tie-up. You see Mason does a great job using that saw down, but he misses the GB, and just credit to Weirman for staying in the play, and Maryland ends up getting a huge goal late in the game on this one. We got Mullen again. This is a great shovel. He loses the clamp this time, but stays with it, does an excellent job keeping his eye on the ball, sniffing it out and finding it. Now, Weirman throws a rake in here in the fourth quarter for the first time and definitely catches Cone off guard. That's a great example of how you can utilize raking even when you're a clamp dominant guy. Another good backdoor. This is really good persistence and pursuit on that GB. This one turns into a muck fest. Cone's not able to run away. Maryland does an excellent job keeping pressure there, but Syracuse's defense this time was ready just like Maryland was, but they throw an errant pass. Credit to Maryland for staying on, guys, and that just shows you got to run to space on some of these. And I clipped this one up even though it was early. Can't afford that late in the game in the fourth. Luke does a great job winning the OT faceoff. I think he should have shot that one or hit the point guy on the left. This was an excellent game overall.